And welcome to News Central TV. I am Mazino Pil. The top stories this hour. Military denies civilian deaths, insists only terrorists targeted in Sokoto airstrikes. And Boko Haram hits ISWAP Stronghold in Borno State. 10 paramilitary fighters alleged allied with Sudan's army killed in drone attack. We bring you the details now. So as the festive season continues, we bring you the latest stories making headlines across the nation and around the globe. From the joy of giving and community celebrations to the challenges faced by many during the season, we'll take a close look at the spirit of Christmas, plus updates on the day's top news stories, including efforts to tackle insecurity, reflections from religious leaders, and more. So stay tuned as we unpack it all. Now let's begin in the nation's capital, where the Christmas celebrations was filled with joy and excitement in Nigeria's capital, as both Christians and Muslims came together to enjoy the festivities at the popular Millennium Park amid the current economic situation. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more.
As the holiday season fills the air, Millennium Park in Abuja becomes a haven for families looking to relax and celebrate the Christmas spirits. From exciting games for children to traditional music that creates sweet melodies, the park offers a variety of fun activities for everyone. Some families that News Central Television crew spoke with, who have made it a tradition to spend the Christmas day here, shared their reasons for their excitement.
Chicken might be 30,000 in the market, but the only thing that is very free is happiness. So we decide to grab it.
Things have been so difficult in a way, but I don't confess negatively. I always confess positively. And I believe God has been so faithful.
No matter the situation of the country, at least with the help of God, we are able to put food on the table of our children.
As the aroma of local delicacies filled the air, there were food and drinks for every family to enjoy. As the season unfolds, some of the visitors also shared their hopes and expectations for the upcoming year.
I am optimistic that next year is going to be better than this year. You understand? I'm saying this because, let me put it this way, God has been so faithful, like I said from the beginning.
This year, this coming year, the government should at least 400 naira per dollar. That means so that life will change.
Some people became billionaire this year. So if we are not lucky to be part of it, we are seeing, if we are still alive, 2025, we are going to be part of it.
With the holiday season providing an opportunity for families' togetherness, they hope for a brighter future. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Wife of the Rivers State Governor Valerie Siminalayi Fubara has advised parents to inculcate the fear of God in their children and wards as they strive to discharge their onerous responsibilities in their families and the state. Valerie Fubara gave the advice when she visited the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital and River State University Teaching Hospital in Port Harcourt to facilitate, or rather felicitate, babies born on Christmas Day, as well as the Port Harcourt Children's Home, Borokiri, where she celebrated with the children on Wednesday. The governor's wife shared gifts to the Christmas babies in UPTH, baby Sammy, Obaibona, and that of RSUTH, baby Kate Xavier, as well as other children in the wards. She thanked God for the safe delivery of the children, just as she congratulated their parents and urged them to train the children with the fear of God, while praying that they become sources of blessings to their parents.
As a grandchild, my mom used to work in the juvenile welfare. So I remember that the last time I came here was in the year 1985. So you can imagine how long I've been here. I really needed to visit this place today because I have this touch with this place. I think it's better for me to come and see things myself, to know how the state children are doing. If they are well taken care of, it's very important to the state government. We parents, I would say parents, we should fear God, we should love God. Once you have the fear of the Lord, you don't need to be advised. It checkmates you. When you're doing something that is wrong, it will tell you that what I am doing is wrong. And also, we as mothers, it is very, very important we support our husbands. Support them in prayers, support them in other ways that we know we can support our parents, our husbands. Is very, very important. And as a state, it is very dear to us and also dear to His Excellency.
The governor of the Delta State in South Nigeria, Sheriff Oborevwori, has called on Nigerians to use the season of joy and goodwill typified by the Christian festival of Christmas to reflect on the values of unity, peace, and selflessness, to work for the sustainable progress and development of the country. Governor Oborevwori made the call while speaking to journalists after the Christmas service at the Living Faith Church Asaba on Wednesday. The governor, who was joined at the Christmas service by his wife, Toumbun Gini, and other family members, emphasized the need for citizens to place national interest above personal or sectional aspirations in order to foster sustainable progress and stability in the country.
Well, first and foremost, there's no crisis in the world. It's how you're able to manage it. I think in Nigeria, we're managing our crisis very well. The most important thing, we are united. And I believe the major interest is Nigeria, not personal interest. A lot of things have happened for the past few days. There's nowhere you don't have mistakes. Where we have stampedes, most of those states, I commiserate with the families over this loss. And I pray for God to grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. Like I've said, 2025 will be a good year. It's a year of consolidation. That is my belief, and I pray for more unity.
Christmas breaks do not exceed 2 days for people who work in corporate establishments and 1 month for teachers and school children in the primary and post-primary schools. However, as short as the breaks may appear, the Southeasterners will nearly buy and park so many luggages with food items, electronics and others. News Central's Chinwe Ogele reports.
The driver, conductor and passenger are bargaining the charges for the luggage in order to load them on the vehicle. Rarely will you see an Igbo person traveling home for Christmas without foodstuff and so many other items which need to be taken home. The question people ask on why they have to carry foodstuff while traveling to the village, since those things can also be found there, is explained by these Igbo people.
Christmas is a period of gifting, so they tend to buy things from the city because there are things you don't get in the villages, so they have to buy those things that are found in the city to gift the villagers.
Although a lot of people did not make a trip to their villages this time around owing to hard times, those who did have reasons beyond Christmas celebrations.
Sometimes, from a year to year, there is a lot of people who I never see for some years. So if I travel like this, I will see them. Me with them will talk. If this place is no good for you, some of your friend might tell you, say, come to Lagos, come to so place where they like say you may get opportunity to, to carry, to live more better.
Festive season, that's when you know Igbos. It's in our blood. We love celebration. We love to spend money. We love to make merry. So Christmas with Igbos is one of the best moments ever, especially when you travel home to spend it with your extended family members.
A na-adị m mkpa ka m jee fụ ikwu na ibe a na-eli mmadụ ndị na-agba nkwụ na-aba mmemme dị iche iche and a na-agwa amahụ.
It is an aberration for someone from this part of the world to travel home empty-handed, no matter how little, because those items brought home will be extended to others, attract reciprocals and blessings from the beneficiaries.
As you're going back, the villagers will also give you their own package to bring back to the city. So it's just like that, an exchange of gifts. So definitely you have to pack it out to the village.
I brought some, I see this thing, I brought bread, I bought some other things that I will give to my friend.
So the next time you see an Igbo man traveling with so much luggage and items, just remember that his umunna needs to feel his impact when he is home. In Omaha for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugeli.
And now away from that, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Matthew Kuka, has said that the recent deaths at food distribution centers show how desperate many Nigerians have become. Last week, more than 67 people died in stampedes while trying to get food aid in Oyo, Anambra, and Abuja. Speaking in his Christmas message on Wednesday, Kuka said the deaths could have been prevented if the government had done more to help people struggling with Nigeria's economic problems. He described the tragedies at Okija, Ibadan, and Abuja as showing the situation of desperation that citizens have been thrown into. And so to discuss this, we are joined by Executive Director, Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, Elvis Akwobi. Elvis, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hello.
Good. So Elvis, if I may ask, what are the potential governance failures that could lead to the inadequate distribution of palliative measures in response to hunger, and how can they be mitigated in future relief efforts if anyone's thinking of such?
Okay. For me, I'm a graduate of from NIMS, the highest body of policy-making body in Nigeria, and I was taught that everything rises and falls on leadership. And it's the duty of the government to provide an enabling environment, mostly with the welfare of its citizens. Not so much as to commend President Tinubu in some areas, but at the moment, the welfare of the common man is key. And you agree with me that from most of the interviews I've watched, and you've even done with people, had with people, everybody's complaining with the hardship, hiking, food stuff and all that. And I think it's time him and his team sat down and make policies to regulate food prices of things in the market, to be able to, create a better life for the common Nigerian. For the stampede and the palliative we experienced in the past, the past week, for me, it has a result. It reflects again that there's hunger in the land. People can do anything just to, feed. Back in my state, we had, aside what the state governor did to cushion the effect of, to provide succor to its citizens, we still have individuals, privileged individuals who did that, and none was recorded. But everything still went back to, the federal government.
All right, now, Akwobi, let's talk about intervention measures that, after looking at everything that happened last week, all three stampede instances, what proper, perhaps maybe adequate intervention could be made in these situations to help prevent this kind of issue from happening again?
Okay. Like I've always reiterated in every platform, let the president and his team, maybe economic team, sit down, make policies that will regulate the prices of food in the market. One. Then two, if you're giving out palliatives, let's say you're distributing to different states, every state should have measures in which this palliative are being given. too, because firstly, the individual that really wanted to, provide succor for underprivileged people did that with good faith. Maybe whatever happened was because it was not in an open, it was in an enclosed space. One, let's not forget too that there are people at the moment. There were times where Nigerians were working towards saving money, but at the moment this year, Nigerians were key towards feeding, having a meal on their table. That's to tell you the high curve of hardship and hopelessness among Nigerians. So it reflects negatively on the government, and I think Mr. President should work towards, solving that problem.
And when you say regulate prices of food, you mentioned two things there. Regulate prices of food, that's an issue that doesn't just start at the markets. It's something that perhaps has to go back the timeline. Is it with the farmers or is it with the traders? That's one. On the other side, when you say make protocol for anybody who is interested in sharing palliatives, if I want to give, do I need any protocol to give?
No, you don't need protocol. Okay, let me give you an example. I have a mentor I work with, and last week we gave a palliative, Dr. Aliu Oborevwori. Before that section where we're about giving, I spoke with him that how do we curtail these people? Because I didn't want, in Nigeria, negativity fly the most. I didn't want any negative thing to fly with the gesture I wanted to do. So I spoke with him, how do we manage these people? When I checked the crowd, the mammoth crowd outside, I thought, how do we manage? He said, Ali, this was his word that we'll make sure we kept them not in an enclosed place. And we're able to regulate a crowd of almost 2,000, and we didn't have any casualties. So for me, in as much as you want to give out to people, you must not put them in an enclosed place, because there are people who just want to get something to eat. And whenever anybody is hungry, he or she can fit himself anywhere. He or she can step on anybody just to access whatever gift item you want to give to that person. And like I said, it calls for sober reflection at the moment that people are doing anything just to put food on their table. So when I talked about regulating the prices of food stuff and all that, fine. If you engage some farmers, they will tell you the hike in price of food has to do with insecurity, lack of road network to where the raw materials for production is. Government should make all those things a thing of the past. Lately, farmers cannot go to their farming because of insecurity. Now, then motorists cannot access this farmland, and those things reflect on the prices of food items.
Well, Elvis, I want to say thank you very much for giving us your expert opinion on the matter. Thank you indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Now a break, and when we get back, Boko Haram hits ISWAP Strongholds in Borno State. We have the details, but only after. Welcome back. To security matters now. Tragedy struck early on Wednesday in Gidan-Bisa village, Silame local government area, where a military airstrike targeting bandits mistakenly killed 10 villagers and several livestock. The strike occurred around 6 a.m. local time, according to local chairman Abubakar Gitarana. Governor Aliu, alongside APC leader Senator Aliu Wamako and Labour Minister Muhammadu Mangari Dingyadi, attended the funeral prayers for the victims. The governor described the incident as a tragic mistake, noting the military's prior successes in targeting criminal hideouts. He announced 20 million naira in support and 100 bags of food for the victims' families, while promising a thorough investigation to prevent future errors. The community remains in mourning as the state grapples with this unfortunate incident. Meanwhile, the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Fansamyama has dismissed claims that its airstrikes in Sokoto state killed civilians, insisting the targets were terrorist associates. Reports earlier alleged that military jets mistakenly struck 2 communities in Silame local government area, killing 10 civilians. Sokoto State Governor's Press Secretary Abubakar Bawa confirmed civilian casualties. However, Joint Task Force spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Abubakar stated the strikes in Gidansama and Rumtua were based on precise intelligence, targeting Lakurawa terrorist groups. He emphasized the military's rigorous reconnaissance to ensure civilian safety and urged the public to rely on verified information to prevent panic and misinformation. And so to give us more on this, we are joined by our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu. Also joining us is public affairs analyst, Ladan Aliu. Going to be starting with Ladan Aliu. Ladan, thank you for joining us this afternoon. But we've got two very different stories here. One telling that, yes, there was an airstrike that targeted mistakenly and killed 10 civilians. And then the other from the authorities saying that there wasn't such a thing. From where you are at, what's the situation, please?
The situation is still the same because the people who have been targeted have been sending signals that the airstrike mistakenly hit the people in the village. They were targeting the Lakurawa terrorists, as it was said in the news, but recently there was news that Lakurawa occupies some of the local government, including Silami, and the news came to the military, and they were trying to fish out those terrorists from those areas. But as you can see there, the incident happened at the early hour of yesterday, Wednesday, and at the early hour, that is around 6 a.m. But in a quick response to this issue, the governor of Sokoto State mobilized some members of his cabinet to go to the area, which is a difficult terrain. It's let's say a village in Silami local government area, and people were just preparing to go for their normal businesses when the airstrike happened. Though this is the first time in Sokoto, but there are a lot of concern from citizens within this Sokoto state, and meaning in Nigeria that the military ought to have checked properly before dropping, though the military spokesman insisted that they were targeting Lakurawa.
Now we have Bagudu with us. Bagudu, thank you very much for joining us as well. Bagudu, what would you say regarding the disparity when it comes to the information we're getting regarding this airstrike, regarding the lieutenants telling that, hey, these were associates of the Lakurawa gang we have been trying to target? What was the immediate response from the governor or people in the area, Bagudu?
Into the number of lives of the citizens of Sokoto who lost their lives. I mean, the records are very clear. There are only 10 people for the records we have. 10 people in a community of over 5,000, 6,000. We're talking about Gidan Sama village and, of course, Rumtua village, all in Salime local government area. Of course, you agree with me that, of course, these are just unfortunate citizens that are actually victims of collateral damage, which of the military should have used that statement, should have used that term to explain to Nigerians, which they didn't do. But of course, they are interested in silencing the Lakurawas, and then of course, they don't have they don't want to miss any words about the fact that they are after the Lakurawas. And then, but the truth of the matter is very clear. The situation is very clear here that the citizens of Salime local government area, talking about the village of Rumtua and of course Ginansama villages, are just victims who ran into the operations of the Nigerian Air Force, and then they become victims. So it is so clear. I want to concur with the statement of the army that they were only targeting Lakurawas, and there is no error. There is no error whatsoever. Yes, the error affected 10 people on record. 10 people on record, and that 10 people are just maybe probably people. We have not been to that community yet. We're going to be in that community tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning, we will find out. Probably I have been to those areas. I've been to Tangaza. I've been to Bini local government. I've been to Gedobawa local government. New Central have mobilized me up to Ilela local government, Sokoto East and Sokoto North. I've been to those communities, and I know their proximity with this particular government, Salimi. I know the proximity with, of course, Gidan Sama and then Rumtua. I know those communities very well. I know that I have visited Gongono, and I have known that Lakurawa are operating within those axes. So it is not surprising that the Nigerian Air Force jet hit citizens, because those communities are intertwined with the forest where Lakurawas are operating. So it is not surprising that there will be a collateral damage. That was the statement I expected to hear from Army, that there's actually a collateral damage of 10 people, of which they mentioned the Nigerian Army once confessed that they made a mistake of shooting a teenager in Zaria, which we reported during the end bad governance protest. They should have admitted that this is a collateral damage, which we are expecting. But they didn't do that. But by the time we get to those communities, of course, we'll be able to give you details. Okay. But I believe it was targeted at Lakurawas and nothing more.
All right.
Nothing more, because we have visited those communities.
All right, now,
it's just 10 people that were hit. They were probably going to their farms, and then they're out. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Bagu. Now, let me come back to Lawan. Now, Lawan, regarding the Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Abubakar's statement regarding associates of the Lakurawas being in these spots, how does that affect the confidence of the citizens in these areas that, well, this unfortunate instance happened?
Yeah, the confidence of the people of Sokoto is that the military ought to have make a surveillance before carrying out that attack on locals around that area, because when things of this nature happen, though there are speculations around that this Lakurawa mixed with people, immediately they see army or any other people who are trying to attack them, they mix with people, and alongside they find their way. But there are concerns that the military ought to have carried out surveillance before taking that airstrike to kill about 10 innocent people in that local area. And people continue to throw their weight. Though there are successes recorded in the fight against insurgency in the area, according to some officials, but this is a setback to the fight against insurgency.
Bagudu, are you aware how the military actually gathers its intelligence in these kinds of instances to try and minimize civilian casualties? How do they go about it?
Yes, I'm fully aware. I visited Tangaza local government, Gongono specifically, where the captain in charge of the 4th operating base, Tangaza, his name is Captain Martins Megamu, told us that the Lakurawas come in to marry wives, young girls within, because Tangaza is just a stone throw to Niger Republic in Sokoto. And then of course we have Bichi, we have Guadebawa, we have Ilela. The intelligence there is the fact that the military told us that the Lakurawa come in pretentiously to marry their children. In fact, we shared a video where we told you that a community chief told us that he has a wife in the Niger Republic, and that he finds it very difficult to identify who is a terrorist. He can't even differentiate between a Nigerian and a Niger person, because these Lakurawas are mostly from Niger, Burkina Faso, Mauritania, of course, Algeria, and of course, Benin Republic. So the entire intelligence is very, 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 trickish for the Nigerian military, of which they confess they are doing their best. They are going to work hard to make things work, but it's very, very difficult because the Lakurawas are taking advantage of their proximity to Nigeria and the acceptance they got from the Sokoto communities, talking about communities within Gongono in Tangaza local government area, Ilela, Godabawa, and then of course Savamburni, and then of course Isa local government area. So it is very difficult because they are intermarried, they are more like brothers. So that's where the intelligence issue is coming up, because you cannot differentiate between a Nigerian and a Nigerian in Tangaza local government, in Savamburni local government, Ilela local government, of course in the Gongono area. That is where the intelligence issue is, yeah.
Well, I wish we could go on with this conversation, but we have plenty more to tell in the news. But thank you very much, Bagudu, and thank you very much, Lawan, for giving us this information.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Now, still talking security, Boko Haram launched coordinated attacks on ISWAP strongholds in northern Borno between December 23rd and 24th. The clashes, reported by security experts Zagazola Makama, targeted areas including Toumbun Gini, Mangari, Toumbun Saje, and Metele, leaving several ISWAP militants dead. Boko Haram reportedly seized 20 motorcycles and destroyed multiple ISWAP camps, forcing the group to abandon their bases and focus on regrouping. The Nigerian military and security agencies have not commented on the incident. This development highlights the ongoing power struggle between these factions in the region. Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has called on troops to intensify their efforts to end insurgency and terrorist activities troubling the nation. The Army Chief made the call during a Christmas luncheon with the troops of Operation Hadin in Maiduguri at Malnutrition Cantonment. The visit by the Chief of Army Staff is said to celebrate the festive season and also assess the troops of Operation Hadin and boost their morale in their ongoing efforts to combat insurgency in the region. Lieutenant General Oluyede commended the troops for the recent successes recorded in the fight against terrorism in the Northeast Theater of Operations, reaffirming the government's unwavering commitment to safeguarding the well-being of its military personnel and civil population.
We shall, in the coming years, consolidate the transformation of the Nigerian Army towards bequeathing a well-motivated and combat-ready force that can effectively discharge its constitutional responsibility within a joint and multi-agency environment. I am committed to consolidating all ongoing viable welfare schemes and insisting additional ones to make you proud of your chosen profession and remain committed to duty.
Your promising leadership has brought numerous enthusiasm and benefits to the theater, including enhanced troops' confidence and invaluable strategic guidance towards our operational activities. As we approach the new year, we wish to assure you that we will not be complacent to avoid the reversal of the gains already made. Rather, we shall conclude to your purposeful fighting spirit to be more decisive and intensify efforts to bring the insurgency in the Northeast to an end.
Relative peace and security has returned to the theater. But as always been said, for a job well done, we need to do more.
And in similar developments, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has reassured that all issues needed to foster professionalism and combat readiness of the Nigerian Army will be improved upon under his leadership. Now, these were the words of Nigeria's Army boss at the 2024 Chief of Army Staff luncheon with troops of 3 Armored Division and Operation Safe Haven held in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Correspondent Chizoba Nyonwe was there for News Central.
This is a yearly Christmas event set aside by the Nigerian Army to honor and appreciate troops in their various theaters of operation as they combat various forms of insecurity across the country. Symbolic here is the Chief of Army Staff serving troops at this luncheon with them, a mark of honor and appreciation. Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede believes this measure will boost troops' morale in their line of duty within their joint operations area.
This is especially to those deployed in the various theaters and peacekeeping operations that will not likely be with their loved ones during the festive periods due to exigency of duty. The collective efforts of our troops towards securing lives and properties are well appreciated by well-meaning Nigerians.
While commending the effort and resilience displayed by these troops, the General Officer commanding 3 Armored Division and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdulsalam Abubakar, urged them not to rest on their oars for more positive results.
As we celebrate today, let us remember that our work is far from being over, as the challenges we face in the joint operations area requires continuous vigilance and dedication.
The climax of the event was the cutting of cake as a sign of peace and cultural dances to entertain the guests. With this annual event, it is expected that these troops will redouble their efforts in ensuring the safety of both lives and property, even in the face of adversity in Nigeria. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Aniui.
The Abia State government has announced plans to commence compensation payments to individuals, corporate entities, and organizations whose lands have been acquired for the Abia Industrial Innovation Park, the AIIP, in Ipu Ukwa West local government area by the end of December 2024. The AIIP project will be hosted by about 7 communities in Ukwa West local government area of Abia State. At a recent town hall meeting in Uwaza to sensitize members of the community on government's plans for the acquired lands, Commissioner for Lands and Housing in the state, Chaka Chukwemerije, assured of their welfare, prompt compensation, and encouraged them to complete all necessary documentation for easy identification for payments.
Is about to break ground on about 5 different housing projects scattered across Abia, and Ukwa West is going to house one of those projects, and compensation will be paid. Gone is the era when government acquires your land and sits on it and does nothing with it and does not pay compensation and goes behind, fascinates the land and sells to its cronies. Aibo a talk and do government.
Our people, Asa, Ukwa, Owaza, Ozak, all these communities, we have an outstanding record of hospitality to investors. And I want to believe that that cooperation will continue. Even when the various companies that will operate here, you will extend that cooperation to them. That is my belief.
Now, coming up, at least 12 children die from malnutrition in rapid support forces controlled areas of Sudan's capital. We have the details shortly. Welcome back. Now, at least 12 children have died from malnutrition this month alone in a rapid support forces controlled area of Sudan's capital, highlighting the deepening humanitarian crisis in the war-torn country. The South Belt Emergency Room reported that more than 5,300 children in the area are currently suffering from malnutrition. The area, which includes the neighborhoods of Al-Ingaz, Al-Azari, Al-Salama, and Mayo, has been under RSF control since the conflict erupted in April. The worsening situation is attributed to the closure of 55 community kitchens known as the Kayas, coupled with soaring food prices and dwindling financial resources among residents. The conflict between the RSF and the Sudanese army has ravaged the country, displacing millions and leaving many without access to basic necessities. Staying in Sudan, where at least 10 paramilitary fighters allied with Sudan's army were killed and others wounded in a rapid support forces drone attack on the training camp. The attack targeted the Al-Ma'akil camp, located approximately 35 kilometers southeast of Shendi in River Nile State. The camp houses recruits from eastern Al Jazeera state and fighters from allied movements undergoing military training. The RSF launched over 10 suicide drones at the camp. The Sudanese Army's 3rd Infantry Division said it shot down most unmanned aircrafts. Alamin Mohammed Al-Imam, alternate head of the Popular Resistance in Shendi locality, confirmed the attack and a death toll. He said the bodies of 10 fighters were transported to the morgue in Shendi. Now, Angolan President João Lourenço has pardoned some 50 prisoners, including the son of his predecessor, José Eduardo dos Santos, who was serving a 5-year jail term for embezzlement. The presidential decree posted on Facebook on Wednesday cited good behavior and the absence of social danger in granting freedom to the convicts. José Eduardo dos Santos, who died in 2022, ruled energy-rich Angola for 38 years until 2017. His 46-year-old son, José Filomeno dos Santos, had been convicted for crimes including embezzlement and influence trafficking. He was jailed for fraud in 2020 after $500 million was transferred from the National Bank of Angola to an account in the UK. 3 others, including the ex-governor of Angola's National Bank, were sentenced. It was Angola's first big corruption conviction since power changed hands. Now, every year, Joburg has a special magic for the kids. Children are treated to a fun world where Christmas season meets the wonders of the deep blue sea. And it's that time again for the young ones to feed their eyes with the thrilling mermaid shows. Now, News Central's Mangari has more.
This isn't just a show, it's a heartwarming spectacle where tradition meets education. Here, mermaids come to spread joy and share their underwater secret. Their acrobatic flips and scrutinized swimming. They swirl through the hoops and create enchanting formations, all while smiling and interacting with the mesmerized children.
Oh, the kids really enjoy it. It's so many children's dream, and especially little girls' dream, to see a mermaid in real life. So for them, it's just magical. And for us, we also enjoy doing these shows. We just come alive.
Look at those smiles. For these children, it's not just an enchanting show, it's an experience that opens up a whole new world of discovery.
To see the mermaids, they are really nice and I just want to enjoy it. I like how the mermaids swim and how the fish.
Imagine learning about the ocean's treasures while being entertained by graceful mermaids. It's a wondrous combination that nature's curiosity and joy in each little heart.
That they are so friendly and they blow that rings in the water.
This is very great and I love this show because it feels very great to see mermaids for the children and for the other people.
Oh, what would Christmas be without magical moments like this? A time for fun, laughter and imagination that lasts well beyond the festive season.
Well, it's just very fun to see everyone enjoying themselves, also taking photos with the mermaids and and children also is very happy to see the mermaids here, and seeing these mermaids also with the fishes is actually, I don't know, it's actually very nice.
I absolutely love it. It's so fun to see children so excited to see mythical creatures. I absolutely love it.
From the dazzling performances to unforgettable memories, the magic of the underwater world reminds us all that in the heart of every child lies a world of adventure waiting to be discovered.
Even though I'm an adult, I just love it. I really love it. I just think it's so fun and it brings back so many childhood memories. It's just something. I think every adult still has that inner child in them.
This Christmas, the magic isn't just in the air, but beneath the waves. It's not a holiday without the joy and excitement that brings smiles to children's faces. But what if the holiday cheer didn't include fun activities that make this holiday so special? These children are enjoying the lifetime of their Christmas. From me, Bongani Siziba, and our watery friends, it's a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And our sports, Ashanti Kotoko has announced the signing of talented goalkeeper Benjamin Toumbun on a 3-year deal from Ghana Premier League side Young Apostles. Toumbun, known for his impressive performance in the ongoing 2024-25 season, is regarded as a rising star in Ghanaian football. Toumbun will wear the number 13 shirt and will be officially unveiled at the Bamayara Stadium on Friday before Kotoko's clash against Bibiani Gold Star. And Sport in Lisbon has parted ways with coach Joao Pereira just after a month after he succeeded Ruben Amorim. Pereira took over following Amorim's move to Manchester United but failed to sustain the team's early season momentum. Sporting, whom began the Premier League campaign with a flawless record, relinquished top spot to Benfica after a 0-0 draw with Gil Vicente last weekend. Pereira's tenure saw the team struggle, losing 4 consecutive matches across the league and Champions League. The club has appointed 43-year-old Borges as their new head coach. Borges previously managed Victoria Guimaraes, leading them to 6th place in the Primeira Liga and a strong second-place finish in UEFA Conference League's league phase. And that's all the news we have for the hour. But before we go, let's take a look at some of the stories that we brought your way. Military has denied civilian deaths, insisted only terrorists targeted in Sokoto airstrikes, and Boko Haram has hit ISWAP Strongholds in Borno State. We also told you that 10 paramilitary fighters allied with Sudan's army have been killed in drone attacks. Now, to remember, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Able TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.